Hey, soul family. Well, that was quick. I hope all are doing well. I know the energy is a little erratic, maybe I would say, for the collective right now, and a little uncomfortable. It's unsettling, right? There's the electricity of Aquarius, of Uranus and Taurus being activated with Pluto in Aquarius, the Sun in Aquarius, Mercury about to go into Aquarius, Mars also following this Aquarius energy. Like we're all entering the Aquarius zone right now. So we might need to, like I said in previous lives, take the time to take some deep breaths, come back into sacred space, take a pause from the electricity that is running through your nervous system, that is running through the base of your spine. It's not easy. It's not an easy thing. I'm going to just make sure everything's in alignment here. Okay, I think everything should be okay. Okay. Is there a better lighting filter here that I can choose from? I did not, it should be okay. I did not, again, announce that I would be coming live, but I hope that many of you have been putting your notification bells on to see when I post here on YouTube and when I choose to come live. It's usually in the spur of the moment, and talking with my guides recently, it feels like I have to show up for the collective a little more often. It's not going to always be this way, so really take advantage of this time that you have with me. Because I won't always be available to come live. Probably after February, I'll be a little bit busy or doing other things. So just to, yeah, so that's some housekeeping items. If any of you want to book a reading, you can reach out through the description box. I have some information down below. If you want your birth chart read, if you want a energy check-in, a recording of a card reading, or any type of reading, if you want a live reading on Zoom, that can happen as well. So make sure to check my options, my offerings in the description box below. So this is going to be a general reading. I know a lot of people are currently, going through it, and as a collective, you can identify with many of these messages because all the signs are going through it. When you look at the astrology, each zodiac sign is being activated and triggered in some type of way. There's not one zodiac sign that is, free from all of this. We are all being put under a microscope, and we're all being asked to surrender to what is going on, which is a challenge because, again, we have been conditioned to be in control mode, right? Our coping mechanism is to be in control and to cope, knowing what the future holds. But for many of us, we don't know what the future holds. So the messages that came through, I have a few. What do I want to start with? Do I want to start with the astrology download? Yeah, okay, let's start with the astrology download. Okay, let's go. So if you're just joining us, I am going to share some of my downloads. I said that I was going to be more present for the collective. February seems to be a month that I'll be showing up a little bit more. After February, probably not. So take advantage of this time. So now we are under a lot of stress in the astrological wheel right now. Venus, the planet that rules the South Node, which is the collective's karmic point. It's the karmic path, which is in Libra. Libra is ruled by Venus. Venus is currently in Capricorn. Okay, and Capricorn squaring, making a tension point, a struggle with Chiron. Chiron, the wounded healer. The wounds, the points of pain, which is in Aries right now. So what does this mean? Venus, our ability to attract, our ability to make money, our ability to feel good, because Venus really likes pleasure, the physical pleasures of life. Our ability to relate to others and connect with others interpersonally. It's our relationships with others. All types of relationships here come up. In Capricorn is a heavier placement. It's putting pressure in the relationships. It's asking people to really look at how they relate to others in a way that honors their own inner authority. Capricorn, we talked about this in a previous live. Capricorn is about the backbone, it's about the spine, it's about also the long term. Are these relationships sustaining you? Are these connections sustaining you? Your work, a lot of people, the Venus has a lot to do with your gifts and your skills and your services, your offerings, what you're sharing with the world, how you're getting paid for what you're doing and sharing and expressing and putting out there for people to receive and take advantage of and really benefit from. Well, Venus in Capricorn is all about management, time management, looking at is this sustainable in Capricorn? Can I commit to this? Can I commit to this job? Can I commit to this mission work? Can I commit to this light work? Can I commit to this contract? Capricorn is about contracts. Square Chiron. Chiron is the points of pain. So the collective is undergoing points of pain and has been going under these points of pain in Aries. Now, whenever Chiron is in a specific sign, it doesn't feel good in that sign. It weakens, weakens. It depletes. It makes it feel weaker and softer. Okay, so in Aries energy is about our drive. It's our willpower. It's our assertiveness. It's our assertion. It's masculine energy, right? That is self-assertive. It's self-trusting. And so Chiron being in Aries brings up how we can be depleted in those areas where we're not being able to trust ourselves, where we're getting too caught up in the opposite sign of Aries, which is Libra, which is all about trusting and being influenced by other people in our relationships. And the South Node being in Libra, which is the karmic point, it's the tail of the dragon in Vedic astrology. It's where we want to release the tendencies of the lower expression of Libra. And so Libra's lower expressions is really about, where we're hiding out in relationships, we're hiding out in partnerships. Instead of being, the star or the leader, we're like the best supporting actor, the best supporting actress in people's lives. We're just supporting people. That's all we do, is we support people. We're never up front leading the way. It's also about avoiding challenges. Okay, South Node and Libra people, the ones who have this axis, they go through this where they avoid challenges, they avoid confrontation, they are big peacekeepers, and being a peacekeeper is a challenge when the South Node is in Libra. It always does not work out in your favor because you're with a North Node in Aries right now. The collective energy, Spirit is pulling us towards stepping into our assertiveness, our own truth, our own needs, right? Making compromises is also a big one with South Node in Libra. Putting others' needs first, passive aggressiveness, codependency, enabling other people's bad behavior. This is all lower expressions of Libra energy, and this is affecting everybody in their chart. Like I said from the beginning, all the signs are going through it right now. There's not one or two signs that is getting a break from all of this. And in your chart, you have Libra and Aries. So that axis point is triggering those two parts of your chart. So with Venus currently in Capricorn squaring Chiron in Aries, it is having everyone really look at how they've been overgiving in relationships or in group dynamics as well. Like I said, group dynamics is a big issue right now because the sun is in Aquarius. Aquarius is about groups, people. Aquarius is ruled by Uranus. Uranus is in Taurus. Taurus is also ruled by Venus. So it all comes freaking back to Venus, right? So you're like, damn, wherever I go and I look in the astrology, it all comes down to what is Venus doing? And is she under some difficult aspects? And she usually is in these last few weeks and in the next few weeks as well. And so if you're having a hard time connecting with other people, getting people's attention, getting people to be on board, this is the universe. These are the astrological influences saying, take a step back. You don't need to interact with these people. It's not necessary. Or it's about setting proper boundaries and speaking your truth and asserting yourself, which is difficult because Chiron is in Aries. And I've been seeing this with light workers, people that I think are like great leaders, and they are actually experiencing this energy where they're like having to tend to other people's needs that are complaining. And this is the lower expression of, I feel, this Libra, this Venus square Chiron, is people are, instead of looking at themselves or taking accountability for what they're doing and how they're showing up, or instead of depending constantly on the light worker or on the leader or on the person that they have a hard time disconnecting from, when that person doesn't show up for them, they go crazy. And as a leader, you have to be able to say, well, okay, so what are my beliefs? Because this is what's coming up, is if I let people make me believe. Hi, Cynthia, how are you? I'm going to read your comment. And so what can Libra do to face the shadow in relationships? Tune in to the higher expression of its opposite sign, Aries. Believing in oneself, self-trust, instead of trusting other people, what other people are doing, how other people are trying to influencing you. You have to let go of that. You have to really step in and clear out all the stories, the limiting beliefs that made you believe that it's important to always get other people's perspective, that it's important to always be in relationship, that it's important to always have that, that sounding board. If you don't have it and Spirit is removing it, that's where you have to look at the belief that's being triggered up in you. And so people, what happens is that when they believe that they need something or someone to show up for them constantly, and they don't get that consistency anymore, then that's where they run into problems. That's where they tend to blame other people. And that's the shadow also of Libra here is, oh, I'm going to blame this person because this person's not showing up for me. So it's about coming back to self, Aries. Okay, so this person's not showing up for me. What is that saying about me? What can I do for myself if this person can't show up for me? And so this is what I've been seeing. I'm giving this as an example because it will probably be beneficial for you to understand the energy here is where in a group dynamic, we tend to look for a leader, right? And I'm part of a community online with one of my astrology teachers. And just to say, he's a great leader. He always shows up. He pumps out so much content. He really supports the community more than a lot of people out there. And so recently he's been having, some life experiences that have been not allowing him to show up as consistently. But I feel like when I look back, I go, is he? I feel like he's pretty consistent. But anyway, there are certain people in the group who are triggered and who are unable to say, okay, well, listen, this guy I can clearly see that he is showing up and he's going through some life challenges like all of us. How can I ease and soothe myself during that small period of time that he doesn't show up for us? And so in that sense, the leader has to step up and say, hey, I'm trying my best here. And the leader shouldn't, take some comments, because not everybody is feeling that way. It's maybe 1, 2, 3. I mean, out of thousands of members in that community, a few bad apples are in there and are complaining. So you have to look at the bigger picture right now. There are patterns, okay, that we need to revisit, and it has to do with how others are showing up for us. And if they are not, How can we show up for ourselves? Aries, North Node and Aries. So this is what the card is basically reflecting here. The energy is round and round. Round and round means I have to go back to a pattern that I probably skipped, or I thought that I had previously learned, or I understood, or I healed. I thought that I healed something, but now it's coming back around. So the pattern that's coming back around is, shit, I'm being either I'm being triggered because people are not showing up for me anymore. And honestly, I feel like there's a lot of narcissists that are acting in that way. Narcissistic tendencies fall into that category of, I can't get people's attention anymore, and I can't get this person to show up for me, and why isn't this person texting me back? And they're missing that attention because most narcissistic tendencies revolve around them and the person and their needs. And it's triggering a lot of people that have narcissistic tendencies. So don't fall for it. And so in this example with my astrology teacher, he fell for that belief, but it really is not falling for it. It's a belief that he already has within himself. And the belief is, I never do enough for everybody. I never do enough. Whatever I do is never enough. So he has to change that belief, because based on a lot of people's comments there, he does plenty. He's very generous. He gives and he gives and he gives. But you see, even though people are saying that and giving that feedback to him, he's still being triggered. He still has that trigger that's coming from other people who don't think that he's showing up for them. And so it's a belief. I know it's hard and people get triggered, but the trigger is because there's something within you, which is a core belief that you have about yourself. Because if he really believed, and I have a lot of compassion for him, because I used to be the same way, and I'm working very hard to say, hey, is that true about me? That what these people are saying? That I don't show up for them, and that I'm not consistent, and I just want your money? I know that I show up. You have to be real and be clear about who you are, and not let those beliefs make you fall into a trap and cloud your judgment about who you are. So it's about clearing these beliefs, these core beliefs. I think it's really important. If you get triggered, obviously we need to feel the trigger, and the overwhelm. And this is what David is going through right now, is that he's very overwhelmed. And I've been there, with community, on social media, with family, with friends, where I'm like, man, here I am always showing up for people, and this is the thank you I get, right? But you wouldn't be triggered that way if you didn't have that belief about, man, I never do enough. I'm never enough. So it's rewiring the belief of I'm not doing enough, and saying, and looking at what you're doing and being honest about what you're doing and how you're showing up, and saying, yeah, no, I am doing enough and more. And I'm doing it through all my life challenges and all the punches that I'm receiving from the universe. And I'm still able to show up the best I can. So what is the pattern that keeps going round and round for you, collective? This is what Spirit wants to shed light on, and they wanted me to read what's in this book that's about this particular energy, because something is coming back around to trigger you, and it might be frustrating to your ego because you thought you originally had healed and cleared that issue or that energy or that whatever it is that is showing up again. But the reality is, right now we are being triggered in many different ways, especially in relationships, and how people show up for us, and how we show up for them, and how we overgive, and how maybe they undergive. There's a lot of that going on right now, and this is not going away. We have to be very conscious that this is an energy that needs to be dealt with in the next year or so until the nodes change into a different sign. So the round and round card, you see how there's like a spiral, and it's all coming from the head. That's why it's the belief that's being triggered. You're going round and round, spiraling back and forth. You feel like you've healed something, or that you move forward with something, a pattern in relationships, but now you're in a new relationship and you're falling back into old habits or into old patterns or old dynamics that you thought that were not going to reappear in this new relationship or in this new job or in this new dynamic. So the spiral quality, this is a spiral energy right now, the spiral quality of events when a lesson isn't quite integrated. And this is what I'm telling you. You have to integrate it, meaning you have to shift the belief inside the body. So if the body has a reaction, is triggered, that's because it hasn't, that shift that you thought you had healed did not get integrated into the body. You didn't sit with those wounds and those triggers prior to that moment. So cycles you are challenged to break, revisiting a pattern from a new perspective. And how do we revisit a pattern from a new perspective? Is by looking at the pattern, sitting with the pattern. You have to identify it. In order for you to integrate a new perspective, you have to sit with the old perspective and see why it's not working anymore. How does it make you feel? What is the belief about yourself that keeps coming up for you? And so the overall message here says the appearance of this card is a reminder that although it may appear that you've gone backward, it appears to the ego that you went backwards, that you took a few steps back. The truth is that you're standing at a higher level, a higher vantage point, right? Looking down into your circumstances, you will learn something, do something better, and break a cycle set up in the past. You actually have a bird's eye view of your initial footprints and can access the wisdom and lessons learned. So how will you, these were the questions, how will you choose to behave now that you are aware of this pattern? Remain curious and stay out of the blame game. So it's really easy to blame others for the way they're acting and for the way they're coming across. I guess I can talk about my personal experience this week as well. So this week was a very triggering week for a lot of us. But if you really took the wisdom, really understood that there was a lesson there, that you needed to go back and maybe talk to someone from your past. I mentioned this in a previous live, that people from your past would come out of the woodworks, or just someone out of nowhere that you don't really interact with will come back, will somehow reach you, contact you, and it'll leave you feeling stumped a little bit, like, wait, what's going on? That is God. That is the universe at play that is working through other people to get you triggered, because they know that you haven't cleared it triggered. So if your initial desire and your initial intention is to heal and is to be on a spiritual journey, then this is prime time to get triggered. It's prime time to get rocked with these energies. We have so much electricity in the atmosphere with Uranus and Taurus and Pluto and Aquarius and all these Aquarius energies that are filling us up with new codes, new energy codes, new awareness. That new awareness is going to trigger your wounds. So that Venus square Chiron, super potent during a time where there's so much electricity in the air. So what did I want to move past here? Did I talk about this? Yeah, so people coming out of the woodwork to get your attention. Now there's going to be different situations. This is not all part of your discernment. This is where you have to take some breaths and discern if this person's coming back around, or if this person is showing up in my reality, someone that I don't talk to on a regular basis, coming in, and I feel triggered by them coming in. Okay, so this is a situation that happened to me in the last few days, actually the midweek. I was like, whoo, okay, here we go. And when you get triggered, it's like after doing a lot of work on myself, it's been a very interesting way of seeing things, because I really feel the ego, the shadow, and then I feel the higher self, like, whoa, like, calm down, you're okay. I can feel myself rise out of my body as a higher self. But then the ego is like, no, I'm gonna stay here, and I'm in resistance, and I don't understand. So you have to be able to allow that duality to stay, to exist. You can't shut down the ego. The ego is there to give you information about what's not being, that hasn't been integrated. We just talked about how something is coming back up around again. So it's to be with it. And I was. So someone called me and reached out to me. Someone that I don't usually, I don't have a close relationship to. There's no hard feelings there. It's just that in the moment, I realized, I became aware that this person is triggering something within me. I had to feel through it. So I says, okay, I'm fucking triggered. I am pissed as hell. What do I do next? What's next? Because I have to get out of this. I felt through it. I breathed. It wasn't easy. When you're in your ego and you're triggered, we tend to become very foggy. We can't see clearly. You'll see, if you read cards, if you're an energy reader, a healer, you can't even read the energy you can't read cards. You can't read energy. It's so hard. The ego is just like, no, we're going to see it this way. So it's hard to understand what the higher self's trying to say. But I stuck through it. So when this person called me, they left me a message initially, and when I listened to the voicemail, that's when I was like, oh, okay, something's coming up for me to release, to really heal at this point, and it felt painful. And I did not know if I should call this person back, because this person asked me, I know I don't talk to you a lot. I know I don't call you very often, but just if you can call me back. So I'm like, okay, is something wrong? Is it an emergency? It didn't feel like it was urgent. And so then I just allowed myself to just feel whatever was coming up. I felt super like ashamed. There was a lot of shame, which is interesting. You have to be able to identify what comes up. Some people make you feel a certain way because there's something there that's stuck, and it's a belief. So it was interesting. I says, okay, this person, whenever I speak to them or that group of people they're associated with, I feel a lot of shame. I feel like a failure. And so I was really angry. I had an inner child. I think it was an inner 13-year-old, 14-year-old, 20-year-old too. And she was like, no, I can't speak to this person. I feel like a failure. Every time I speak to this person, I feel ashamed, and I'm ashamed of where I'm at. And I have a belief, right? So the belief is, I am not worthy. I'm ashamed. I can't move forward in life like they can. They're more successful than me. See, all these stories. It's a story, you guys. It has nothing to do with the other person. It's all you. You made up the story based on the experiences you had, and you projected that shame and that insecurity or that whatever onto that person. So that person became kind of like the monster, the bad guy in your story. Now, don't get me wrong. In certain situations, there is a person who's dangerous and who's detrimental and who's not looking out for you, right? Who's not really in your best interest. So I remember these are the brutal cards, the angel answers, and I'm like, hey, should I, spirit angels, please? I just need a freaking clear answer. What should I do? Should I call this person back? I'm not too sure. I'm triggered. I don't feel good. And it said, communicate clearly. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to communicate clearly. All right. Communicate clearly. All right. So reach out. But when you do reach out, just be clear about what you're saying. All right. And it also, communicate clearly. I'll show you this. So just be confident in the way you communicate. That's how I was trying to feel it out at that point. And then there was the other card that came out and said, it's up to you. So that I knew, okay, they'll support me either way. That's what that means. That if I don't call back, it's all good. They'll support me. If I do, they'll support me either way. Okay. And then there was the other card that came through, which was this: helpful people. Helpful people. So I says, okay. As soon as I calmed down just a little bit for me to hear what, my higher self was saying, there might be some valuable information that might come through for you in that conversation. Okay, at first I didn't believe it. I'm like, what valuable information can this person give me? The only thing I feel with this person is shame. I don't think any valuable advice will come from this, but that's my story, right? I had to go take a walk, and on my walk, I called back this person, and I knew deep down, I felt like, you know what, I tried to read into their energy a little bit too as they were speaking to me. This person didn't have any bad intentions. At the end of the day, this person was just curious about me in some way because they found out something about me in another way, which kind of raised a little bit of eyebrows and said, oh, really? Okay, how did they do that? And why did they do that? But it was out of curiosity and out of, I think, genuine curiosity and concern, or like, hey, I just wanted to check up on you, and I heard about this through like this, and I said, okay. I felt like this person was not coming from a narcissistic place, which is to know if someone is coming from a narcissistic place. I wrote it down. They're not there to compete with you, or there's like, you don't feel like this sense of competition with them or comparing. Like, I didn't feel that. There was no competition, no comparison, and no validation. Some people just want to be friends with you because they want you to validate them. They want to validate, like, through your misery. Remember, I spoke about this in a previous live. Is some people just like being with you because you're speaking so negatively about your life and your challenges that they feed off of that misery. Like, okay, she's miserable than me. Got it. I feel super validated. It's a temporary validation, but they like that. It's that narcissistic side of them that likes to feel like, hey, that person's misery is very validating for me. Instead of being in their vulnerability and saying, oh, wow, like, this person is like, I'm grateful that this person is sharing this with me. Like, wow, this really helps me step into my authenticity and vulnerability. No. Narcissists are not like that. Narcissists want you to be the one suffering, and they're on the receiving end, receiving that as validation that they're doing better than you. So all that to say is, I went through all of that. I listed all the things, and I tuned into the energy of this person that was calling me, and I said, okay, this person had no bad intention. I have to be calmer. I have to be more discerning. I have to allow people to show up for me the way they can. Although I didn't ask for this person to show up for me, FYI, I never, but you see this card came through, and Spirit's like, no, there was some valuable information there that was there for you. Can you see it? And I'm like, absolutely. When people show up for me in that way and have some insight about something, I will receive it. I don't take that stuff for granted, never. So I think that was the lesson. Now, when I came home, I did have a little bit of an emotional breakdown because, like, again, that trigger is still there in the body, you guys. When we talk about healing, you gotta feel it in the body. It's not a mental thing. It's a feeling thing. So I can't just say, okay, poof, I'm good. The conversation was okay, and I can now move on. No, because I have a trigger there, and I was in pain after that conversation. I'm like, oh my God, I feel so ashamed. But my higher self is like, girl, we're good. Nothing bad happened. This person gave you advice, even referred you to someone who can also give you more advice. Good, chill. This is all good stuff. Nobody is out to get you. But I had to move the emotions, so I had to purge. I had to, have a nice cry and say, okay, Emily, it's going to be okay. And this is where your self-parenting, this is where self-soothing techniques have to come in. These are modalities. You can't always expect other people to hold you. It's not other people's job to meet your needs. So in that moment, my emotional needs were met by me. So that's the Aries, the North Node in Aries, not by someone that I can just, oh, okay, let me go on a dating app and look for someone to, comfort me. No, I had to do it myself. So it's about self-soothing, self-trusting, holding ourselves and saying, okay, you know what? It's okay to feel ashamed. Yeah, it's okay. But look at your life now. Look at how far you've come. Sure, you're not where these people are. It's okay. You have your own, and I had to talk to myself this way. Like the way I talk to my clients and to my subscribers, the way I try to reassure people that, especially when we're looking at a birth chart, we're saying, hey girl, look, this is your soul. Your soul mapped this out for you. How beautiful is it? It's not the same as mine, and it's not the same as your neighbors. It's not the same as your families. And for sure, you are going to carry different ways of being and different ways of experiencing life than other people. You might not be as successful as other people because maybe that's not what you're meant to be at this point in your journey. You're supposed to go through things in a different way. So it's reminding the self, that wounded part of you that thinks it's not good enough, that it's a failure, and it's inadequate, and it hasn't reached what it was supposed to reach. It's about being with that part of you enough for it to say, okay, I'm ready to let this go. Are you ready to? So that's where your guides, intuitively, telepathically, you feel like, are we ready to let this go? Because there's nothing to be ashamed about. Like, it's okay. It's okay to have that. But now do you think it's safe to let this go? And the next time you speak to this person, you're going to be even more open, and you're actually going to enjoy their presence, although they're not your cup of tea and they're not your a person that you're going to hang out with. But the next time you do come across this person, at least you can enjoy the presence there, your presence and their presence. And so I did, and it was hard. And so that Wednesday evening was really it was tough for me, but I managed to really, revisit that pattern of me shutting down, pushing, the love of the universe, the love of God that's coming through another person without any judgment, and looking at it and saying, okay, I'm ready to release this shame and this judgment that I have held in my body for all these years, because it's getting in the way. It really is getting in the way of me receiving people who are in alignment with me and who want to support me and who want to be a part of my life, right? So I don't know if that helped, but I know that's, my guides are like, you have to share the story. It's important for people to understand that, there are things that will trigger them, but that it's safe to move through those feelings and those triggers. And so in the last few, I think maybe 24 hours, I was not hit by this energy, but I know a lot of people were. The moon was in Scorpio. So this was yesterday. We are February 3rd. Yesterday, February 2nd, is when that moon in Scorpio was opposing Uranus in Taurus. So you can check out my last shorts. I show it on the chart. And so a lot of people were feeling very triggered. And there was like this drama in the air where people were not, were just triggered, but also full of resentment. And this is where that example that I was referring to before about the astrologer that I follow, that I'm a part of his community online. He has a beautiful community where he shares his content, it's not free. We have to pay to be a member, which is beautiful because he's working. This is his job. This is his mission. And so this is how we show up. We receive what we need to receive, and we pay him for it. But like I said, a lot of people were complaining, and it was like this huge drama in the air about him not showing up for one day, and him taking some days off because he has life events. He's not allowed to have children. He's not allowed to get married. He's not allowed to live. And so people, you can see the narcissism, like, why aren't you showing up? And this is not good. I'm paying for this. And it's like, and so I think if we receive this, we have to look at it and say, okay, do I believe this about myself? And that's how we can move through it. So watch your beliefs. Okay. So the other cards that came through were imagine. These cards and higher power. And if you look at these cards, they feel and look so Neptunian, like it's not even physical. We're not even in our physical reality with these energies. We are like up, 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 up. This is the higher self, and this is the lower self, and it's like, whew, I'm taking over now. And does she have a key? Oh yeah, there's a key on the third eye. Because this is the key. You have to. This is where you get information through your third eye, through the mind's eye, when it's calm, and when you let the dust settle, and when you breathe, and when you allow yourself to be in a presence of, okay, hold on, wait, I got this, hold on, let me assess, let me see with my mind's eye, not with what I'm seeing with my triggered ego state, and imagine. So these are higher dimensions, higher dimensional frequencies, asking us to tune into the feeling body, to tune into the aspects of ourself that are higher dimensional and that are allowing us to revisit these patterns as a spiritual lesson, as a way to move it out of our body and moving it out of our system completely. So it feels very upper dimensions, guys. Upper chakras are being activated. If you have a lot of headaches, if you're feeling more tired, again, more triggered, this is the time to really invite spirit into your energy field and to properly discern who is coming from a place of genuine concern or of genuine curiosity, who spirit is putting on my path to help me, to give me some sort of advice, even though I don't think at first it's for my highest good. Or who is it that's coming back around and behaving in a narcissistic way because they want that attention. Because I also had someone contact me through text, and it was very, very random. And it's someone that I clearly disconnected from. And like, if you can't understand from my lack of interaction with you that I placed a boundary there, like there was no interest there in engaging, then there's something wrong with you. And that's the narcissism that lives within this person, is they're trying to find people to get attention from, because they're realizing that a lot of people are withdrawing right now. And spirit told me this is someone who's very codependent, that needs other people's attention and needs people's validation, and they're seeking it not only from you but from other people. So don't think you're special with a narcissist. Narcissists are going to target all kinds of people to get what they want, so be careful with that too. Okay, so I wanted to pull out some energy, some cards to see what the energies are reflecting within my collective here that are star seeds. So the card that came out here is fall into my arms. Yeah. Surrender. Holding the opposites. Didn't I just go off about that? Extremes of life. You're going to feel the extremes of this energy collective. Yeah. Can you surrender and accept, and can you hold the duality of life? The balancing the dark and the light, the triggers and the light, the ego and the higher self. Are you able to hold those two things at once in order to come into a place of harmony and balance? It's not an easy thing, but this is what, look, the picture is literally holding a baby. There's a woman here that's holding a child in the water. So it's, can you let yourself be held by the mother, by the divine mother? And this is an energy that I have been picking up on as well. The divine mother came through for us very strongly yesterday. Yesterday was a portal, February 2/2 portal. Check my community posts. The last one, this is divine mother energy. And she's in the water, and I talk about water in that post. So the water element, emotions, using water as a form of cleansing, as a form of releasing. So in that post, I explain how to take a spiritual bath during this time, either bath or spiritual showers, really utilizing the water and setting the intention that the water that you're in or that you're using, either in the shower or in a bath, is providing you with codes. These are light codes that come from the divine feminine energy that is holding all of you into her arms, but you have to allow her to come through. You have to create space for her. So again, being in sacred space, being in a state of surrender, holding the opposites, holding both sides, the dark and the light, the yin and the yang. What else? Yes, and I also explained how to release ancestral patterns, right? So the patterns that I was talking about at the beginning, round and round, spiraling back, round and round, something's coming back around to trigger you so that you can release it. This has a lot to do with your ancestral traumas, ancestral patterns, unhealthy ways of coping in relationships, especially in relationships. And now that I see the card that popped up, it's karmic relationships. Orion energy, polarity, soul growth, conflict. So can you allow the Divine Mother, which is all about stepping into sacred space and visualizing the codes streaming down from the water, if you're taking a shower or if you're in a bath, visualizing the water as a cleansing tool. It's cleansing you. It's cleansing you from your ancestral wounds and traumas. You're clearing out all the unhealthy behaviors, ways of coping coming from your bloodline. Now you can choose one. We have to work with one at a time. Choose one for now. So either the mother, your mother's ancestral bloodline, or the father's ancestral bloodline. Which one do you want to clear and that you believe has a big impact on you and your relationships right now? Because everything your ancestors went through in their relationships are now your job to clear, if that's what you choose to do in this life. It's always a free will choice. But these are the energies that are coming up for people. If you're going through difficult times in relationships, again, that stems from those people-pleasing tendencies, of that belief that you always need someone to be around you, to comfort you, to come and meet your own needs, or you need people to accept you. Because Libra, the lower expression of Libra, is very aware of how they are perceived by people. Venus knows how to look a certain way and appear a certain way, in a way that is acceptable to her audience, to the people around her. So again, how, like, you're bending yourself backwards, you're dimming yourself, you're suppressing your true self, your true needs, Aries, so that you can appear a certain way that is accepting of people. So that's one of the things that is showing up, because that is part of your ancestral lineage that a lot of the women and the men did, is that they enabled and they did things so that they can get some sort of acceptance from their partners. And that's how that was a way to receive love and to stay in relationships. But were they really being true to themselves? And this is what's being stirred up right now. Okay, so karmic relationships are all about growing. If you're in a relationship right now, and it's stirring some difficult dynamics up in you, well, what is the soul lesson there? The polarity, the extreme, where do you fall on that scale of Aries and Libra? We're taking steps back into Libra energies because we're so worried, right? I talked about how I felt ashamed because that shame is stemming from that ancestral wounding around me having to show up and be a certain way in front of people, or have accessed a certain way of living, a lifestyle, a level of success. That's the lower expression of Libra. Instead of, really buying into that belief and story, how do we move into, okay, no, I know who I am, and I know that I had to go through those life experiences because they taught me something. I had no knowledge and experience about how to move through life, so it is normal that I'm in a different place than these people. So that comparison game is also very big for that lower expression of Libra. It tends to compare a lot. And then we have we the Hathors, deep love, mother's milk. So again, mother's milk, the divine mother's energy coming through, birth as a portal. So we're all being asked to be held by the divine mother's milk, her codes, her light codes, her rose codes, so that we can be birthed. A new version of us can be birthed. It's a portal of birth. And we all know that, well, I don't know, but when we're giving birth, it's difficult. There's contractions, right? There's contractions. There's a contraction before the expansion. So if you're feeling contracted in life and restricted and tied down and really bogged down by all these energies, just know that you're being contracted because you're about to expand and be birthed into something new. Now, when is that going to happen? That all depends on you. That depends on the work you're doing, on how okay, so you notice that you're in you're triggered, you're having contractions, you're having this time to really feel restricted and constricted. What are you doing to help yourself ease through this? How are you soothing yourself? How are you taking care of yourself? How are you meeting your own needs? Again, North Node in Aries. So those are the cards that I got for the star seeds. Okay. Let me get some. I felt like Archangel Raphael, the healing angel, wanted to come through for many of you. So I'm going to pull some cards from his deck. And then this deck right here for the relationships. Thank you, Archangel Michael, for stepping into our space, providing us with messages that are for our highest and best good, and giving us messages that will bring blessings to everybody. Okay, so some of you are recovering from something. Interesting. Okay, so recovery is one of the cards here. Some of you left something behind because it says leave a stressful situation behind. That was very addictive, they're saying. That was very addictive, seductive. Because then we have sobriety. And Venus in Capricorn. Capricorn is all about having feeling that sobering energy, feeling like, oh, we gotta get real. So this is what I'm getting at when it comes to sobriety. It's you're learning how to let go of certain addictions, cravings, behaviors that are not life affirming, that are holding you back from feeling a life force energy. Now this could be substances, okay? Some of you it's substances, substance abuse, they're saying. So that's alcohol, weed, things that you're doing, that you're taking to numb the feelings. It would have been really easy for me to numb those feelings when I got triggered this week. I'm not gonna lie, it would have been so easy. I personally don't partake in drugs and have never, because I never found it appealing to me. But in that moment, oh yeah, that would have been nice to like not feel shit. But this is not why we're here. We're here to get real, and we're here to feel everything. And it's not an easy process. But for a group of you here, you're recovering from having to leave a toxic relationship, a toxic behavior. And you're still in the process of recovery. So someone needs to be told, like, this is a process. So I'm going to read it. Dear Archangel Raphael, thank you for holding my hand throughout my recovery upon the path of radiant health. Maybe you were around people who have addiction problems, and that kind of sets you off into your own path of addictions. Addictions to all sorts of things. This could be, it doesn't have to be substances, but it could be an addiction to somebody, to a relationship that's toxic. Addiction to spending, an addiction to eating, things that are not good for you, drinking, hydration. Ooh, some of you need to hydrate. Hydration. Are you drinking enough water? And as I'm saying that, I'll drink my water. Okay. Yeah, so this is definitely drink a lot of water because we are going through a lot of upgrades, guys? So like I said, the portal yesterday brought in a lot of light codes, that 2-2 portal. The Aquarius Uranus energy is very potent. It's very electrifying. It's destabilizing to our nervous system. And again, we're shedding a lot of layers here of toxicity, of old belief systems. So your body needs replenishment. Okay, so drinking water, being in water, like I said, giving yourself a spiritual bath, a spiritual shower will help you. Being in the intention of receiving light codes when you're in that water. Being also, if you have a sauna, if you have something that creates heat, steam is good too, they're saying. Stay positive. Yeah, this is about our mindset. Thank you, Archangel Raphael. Thank you for helping me be optimistic and take the appropriate action steps that support my health. Yeah, it really does feel like a lot of people fell for the temptation of negativity with that Scorpio moon that we just had. I think that we're finishing it. I think we're at its latest degrees now. And then we could breathe a little bit. So Scorpio is going to go into Sag. It's going to be a bit more lighthearted in Sag. Oh, we're at the 26 degrees. So yeah, the people who have 26 degree in Scorpio, Taurus, Leo, Aquarius, you might feel that right now. So, fixed signs again are they're being asked to change a lot, and it's not easy for fixed signs. If you have a lot of fixed placements, so again, Scorpio, Taurus, Aquarius, and Leo, if you have a lot of placements in the early degrees, but also right now, the latest degrees are being triggered or being activated. So how do we give ourselves some time to really look at something from a bird's eye view? Remember, we had seen that in this card, the round and round. Where do I keep looping and going back to the same story? Because Scorpio energies fixed energies get locked into a story, locked into a pattern, that's where it becomes destructive. And this is why this energy is very prominent right now. Okay, I'm going to get one more from Archangel Raphael. But yes, changing our mindset. And I mean, this is not about, if this card came out, I trust that it's because whatever it is that you're seeing in a negative light, they're asking you to see it in a positive light. So that's why we go back to the story that I shared with you. My personal story is, how can you see this person and the situation of them calling you in a positive light? Because there's healing there. There was a healing there was a teaching moment there. There was an assignment there that you needed to go through. Can you see it? Can you receive it? Meditation. Here's the last card from Archangel Raphael. So again, if you're not feeling so positive, sit in meditation, but also make sure you're getting enough water and that you're in water to help that, that divine feminine energy is going to help you recalibrate, they're saying. Okay, so recalibration during meditation. I've been meditating more than usual. I'm not, I don't meditate I used to, but not, in the last few months, I kind of let go of meditation. I just listen to guided meditations, but a real true meditation where you're there, breathing, No music, no nothing. It's just you and your guides, you and your feelings, and you're breathing, and you're receiving whatever needs to be received. You don't even need to know. They're gonna do it for you. So really sitting in that. So please, Archangel Michael, thank you, Archangel Raphael, for sitting with me in this space, speaking to your angels. This is important. I really help me see this situation from the lens of positivity, from the lens of love, from a lens of unconditional love and joy. Help me see this person from a lens of compassion, and then see what transpires. Usually when we say that prayer, because we're triggered by somebody and we want guidance, that is the best prayer. That is the best prayer. Please help me see this person from the lens of compassion, from the lens of unconditional love, from your lens, from the God lens. And then later down the road, Spirit will show you something about this person, and it'll make you see this situation in a more positive light. And you'll understand that this person is just human, just like you. So if this person triggers you and maybe talk shit about you, there's a lot of that going around, a lot of rumors and gossip. Sit with that instead of buying into the lower expression. That lower expression of Scorpio can be resentment, can be vengeance. I want vengeance. I want this person to pay. I want payback. I mean, you can feel all of that. It's okay to feel resentment. Like I said, when I was triggered, I felt what I needed to feel. I'm like, oh, I feel shame here. Oh, let me sit with this. Let me have shame work through me. Give shame a place at your table to talk and to make you feel what you need to feel. So this is not about suppressing, but it's also about, okay, so I see this, I see and I feel this happening. But now I need to sit with this feeling, and I need to allow messages from a higher presence. And we did get that card from the beginning, right? Your higher power, your higher self, to realign me back to what? To love, to unconditional love. Because at the end of the day, isn't this what you want to feel? We all want to feel ease and love and peace on earth. But by buying into the vengeance of I want that person to pay and I want that person to suffer, that's you perpetuating more fear, more destruction in the energy of the world. So it's not to say that, you don't deserve to be treated well. It's to help you see the perspective to see it in a different way. Okay, so that's what it comes down to. When these cards show up, I fully trust that they're saying that this is something you need to look at from a place of love instead of a place of fear. Have more faith than fear, but feel the fear. Don't repress the fear. Be aware that you're feeling the fear or the shame or the guilt or the anger or the resentment, but then sit and let it go and have your guides help you move through it. Again, I'm repeating myself, but hydrating, taking baths, water, help charge your water. Even when you're drinking, charge your water. Sip with intention and say, thank you for replenishing my body. Help me cleanse my energy from anything that is not of the highest light and love. Thank you for helping me take care of myself throughout this process that I'm recovering, because you guys are recovering from something. Help me feel safe to leave behind this stressful situation that no longer serves me. Okay, so gratitude goes a long way. Okay, so whenever I speak, sometimes they tend to just reaffirm with the answer is yes. So for some of you in relationships, because I want to ask them what energies are coming through in relationships specifically. Maybe some of you needed that confirmation of leaving a stressful situation behind. The answer is yes. Okay, so what energies are at play here when it comes to relationships? What energies does the collective here watching need to know about their relationships closest to them? Separation. My goodness. Okay, so we do have people leaving something behind. In that it's safe to leave this behind, you guys. Okay, and again, we are reassuring. I think this is part of my mission in life. Is I come here and I reassure people, and it's healing. It's a healing practice. It's part of your mission is to reassure, reconfirm, repeat. I'm a projector in human design, and projectors are the people that we attract. Usually come into our field because they need to hear messages repeatedly. They need the repetition. So I'm sorry for people who are going through a breakup. I am sorry for that. My heart is with you. Our prayers are with you. It's difficult to feel that. It's grief. There's a lot of grief. But from what I understand here is that Spirit is saying you have to look at this from a place of unconditional love. You have to look at this relationship ending as a gift, as a blessing, as much as it's going to bring up a lot of sadness and heartbreak. Grief. Grief. Okay. So a lot of you are going through periods of grief, walking away, separating yourselves from people, places, and things that were stressful, that were not healthy. And Spirit is asking you and helping you show you, demonstrate to you that it's safe to be okay with it, to be positive, that you will be. It's a positive thing. At the end of the day, this is a positive thing. Yeah, this is about letting go of your attachment. Some of you who did go through a breakup recently and who are going through grief, there's still some attachments here. There's still some patterns here that are not serving you. See, it says bound with the devil here. So be careful. There's temptation here to go back to something that you left. Probably because you didn't clear out the grief. Am I on? It's been already one hour? Oh my gosh. Time flies when we are reading energy. Cynthia, yeah, sorry, I missed your comments. Thanks for the message. It's up to me, yeah. What possible good can come out of this? I like to reflect over 3 days for a situation I may perceive as bad. Yeah, that's a really great thing. Yeah, good habit to have. There's something good that can come out of this, absolutely. And sometimes it takes a few days to receive and to feel that reassurance. Thanks for the messages. My pleasure. It's my pleasure. Yeah, refocus for this group that I am picking up on here that is going through a period of grief. Like I said, I apologize that you're going through this, but remember, it's the soul's contract. It's your soul. It's right on time. So you're being asked to refocus your attention, your energy from things, devilish temptations, seductive things that keep you trapped and stuck into old patterns. Again, this has to do with unresolved grief. You're not wanting to sit with the grief. When we go back to seductive and temptation, it's because we haven't felt our grief. We're trying to use these seductive things, these attachments, as a way to numb and escape the pain, the grief. Okay, let's get a few more messages out and then I'll compromise. 6:30 already, wow. Okay. Numbing, didn't I just talk about numbing? Numbing what? The grief. That's why you attract, some of you are attracting seductive things that are tempting you to go back, unhealthy people, experiences, habits. Be careful. That's definitely in the air right now. It's a way of numbing your grief. Okay, these fell. Ah, yeah, that's beautiful. Okay. Destruction at the bottom of the deck. This is like the tower. Is it destruction or is it this redirection? It's up to you. How do you want to see this? It's destroying your foundation, a foundation that was based on what? Unhealthy attachments, bound. Or else Spirit wouldn't be telling you to leave this unhealthy situation. Leaving something stressful behind. Okay, and then we got these last few cards here. Compromise. Yeah, that's that South Node in Libra, those lower expressions of Libra that tend to compromise who they are. Yeah, some of you, you see, the way you compromise is by not being true to yourself, by being here, by wearing a mask. So how can we remove the mask, drop the mask, be more authentic, be more honest about to ourselves about what we're feeling, what we're going through, and not compromising our needs. Because you're going to quickly see when you compromise who you are, you can't be in alignment. You're not, that's a false sense of peace. People who tell me, oh, I'm very, my life is very peaceful. I have a hard time believing that. The energy screams back, yeah, this person is compromising too much. You're being a peacemaker. You're not wanting to rock the boat because you're afraid of losing something. You're afraid of losing this person or whatever this is. But if this is unhealthy and keeping you in a state of compromising, you're not being yourself with the mask. So for the ones who did leave an unhealthy relationship situation, because I did ask about relationship, right? You're in a place of reinvention. You see, there's no head there. It's because you're starting to know who you are. You're starting to rediscover. So be curious about where spirit is guiding you towards. You're completely reinventing yourself, but you're having to go through an awakening process, seeing the world, seeing relationships, seeing yourself in a whole new light. That's traumatizing at first. When I went through a big breakup in 2017, that was my awakening. This was me in 2017. Leaving an unhealthy relationship that was toxic, where I had to compromise myself and I couldn't voice my opinion, and if I did, it was a fight, right? It was an argument. There was a lot of toxicity there. I had to dim myself. I had to suppress my needs. I had to pretend like everything was peaceful and okay, but it was not. At one point, my body gave out. So this process is not an easy one. Whoever is going through this, I feel for you. I've been through this. This is why I'm here. This is why I'm doing this work, because I've been through the struggles of having to leave something that is very toxic and going through all the heartbreak and the emotion that come with it. Okay. Oh yeah, the last two cards, beautiful. Conclusion, closing a chapter, an ending. Yeah, the key here, you see there's that beautiful key that where it says conclusion, divine feminine. Yeah, so if you're thinking, what's the solution? What's the key? Come back to your divine feminine energy. Follow the path to the divine feminine. Follow the path to your heart. Be more, step into more of a place of compassion, of understanding, less control. There's too much control and manipulation. The toxic divine feminine energy, right? If she would come out in reverse, would be I'm manipulating the situation. I'm using manipulation as a way for people to accept me, but I'm not being my true self. I'm compromising who I am, right? These are all unhealthy ways of coping. And that's not healthy divine feminine. Healthy divine feminine, she's honest, she's truthful, she's listening to the guidance, and she's finally stepping into a higher place with her heart. And it's not about anybody else. It's about her and how she feels. Putting her emotional needs first. That is the key to this ending of whatever it is that you're walking away from. Thank you. Thank you, Archangel Raphael, Michael, Uriel, and Gabriel. Okay, I think I'm going to end this with... what do I want to end this with? With an angel message? Yeah, let's do that. All right, angels, what are the last few messages that can help the collective here watching, that can help support their new journey here, walking towards the divine feminine? feminine energy. So we have peaceful resolution. Okay, so things will work out. It will be resolved in a peaceful way. If you are still a little bit stressed about how this ending is happening, things will work out in a peaceful way. So don't fret. Stay positive. Like the message, I'm just reiterating the message. I know this is hard stuff, but this is what it's saying. And then we have improving health. Yeah, this is about you putting your health first, prioritizing your health. You prioritizing, improving your health, meaning health, mind, body, soul. Prioritizing the mind, body, soul connection. This is what I'm getting from this card. What are you putting into your body? What are you doing? What are the habits that you're following every day? And what are you consuming your mind with? Do you catch your thoughts when they're negative, when they're limiting? You catch yourself numbing yourself, going back to old habits because you don't want to feel the sadness and the grief that's coming up, which is a normal thing when we end things. Compromise, that word again. Okay, so the ending that most of you are experiencing, this can be a divorce, a separation. It's all balanced. Everybody wins here. That's what Spirit is saying. It's a win-win situation. And again, you have to be careful with revenge and but this person owes me more. No, it has to be fair on both ends, you guys. The South Node is in Libra. The lower expression of Libra is that. It's the injustice wound. It's not fair. No, it will be fair for both parties. I can promise you it's a win-win situation for both parties. Okay, and I'm going to end it with Archangel Michael because Archangel Michael is going to close this space off for me. Thank you, Archangel Michael, for clearing the energy from any lower dimensional frequencies that came through. Thank you for protecting the space, clearing the space, for allowing everybody to receive these messages with great courage. So the energy that is speaking through Archangel Michael, the last card for today's live is your inner guidance is real and trustworthy. So a lot of you are getting intuitive hits because that's how the universe is, how your guides are communicating through your intuition. We saw it from the very beginning. Believing, it's not, you can't see it to believe. You have to feel it to believe. Feeling to believe. Feeling to believing. Okay? So it's all about the feeling body. The divine feminine is a feeling essence. The high priestess feels and sees with her third eye and is very understands. There's an understanding, a higher understanding coming through for many. And that's the guidance. Whatever guidance that you've been shown, whatever synchronicities and signs that you've been shown through here, through my channel, or through wherever you're getting hits of synchronicities and signs, they're confirming to you that your guidance is real and trustworthy. So you can trust what has been coming through for you. So your prayer here is, please help me clearly hear, see, feel, and know the divine guidance that I have asked and prayed for. Allow me to keep my ego out of the way, right? We talked about ego from the beginning. So your wisdom can come streaming through me for my own benefit and for those around me. Okay, so we are closing this off with this prayer of understanding that God, your angels have your back, and that you need to be in a place of receiving in order to see and feel and hear and understand the messages. And if you don't, it's because you're still in your ego and you're trapped in your thoughts. You're trapped in negative and limited thinking. You're going back to old ways, and it's limiting your connection to the divine and to receiving answers and clarity. So for now, I don't think there's any action. You see, there's no action steps that you need to take. You just need to be in a space of receiving and of listening to the guidance that is trustworthy. that can come through anywhere, wherever you feel called to. Always make sure that you're asking your angels and guides of the highest light and compassion and resonance. There's a lot of beings out there that are not of the highest light, and I spoke about this in one of my videos here this week, late in the last few days. I think I posted it on Thursday, so check that out. Even if you don't call yourself a light worker, you got to be careful when you start connecting with spirit. You have to always make sure that you are connecting with angels and guides of the highest light and resonance, okay? Guides that have your back. So you guys, I hope these messages were helpful and insightful. Thank you, Cynthia, for showing up here in the comments. It was my pleasure to be of service to you all. I am sending you lots of love and lots of blessings. Take care of yourselves.